Funding fight boils down to a battle over President Obama's executive actions on immigration. Republicans want to strip funding for those measures, and some on the Hill, including House Speaker John Boehner, have warned they would be willing to let the Homeland Security Department shut down. Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson says what's happening is unacceptable.
What is going on in Congress is there are some who want to defund our executive actions and do it in a way that holds up the entire budget of Homeland Security for this nation. That is unacceptable from a public safety, Homeland Security view, and I'm talking to my friends on the Hill, Democrat and Republican, about the importance of let's get on with funding the Department of Homeland Security.
Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel getting ready for a busy week. Mike, good morning to you there on Capitol Hill. Okay, now, what Republicans will argue is that Democrats in the Senate are holding this thing up, and they will also argue that even if the delay in funding happens, the top priorities for Homeland Security will still be held up. So with that as a foundation, is there a sign of a breakthrough here?
Bill, not yet. The Senate is due to take its fourth attempt later today to try to take up the House-passed DHS funding bill. All eyes will be on 8 Senate Democrats who at some point have publicly expressed at least some concern with President Obama's executive action. So far, Manchin, McCaskill, Donnelly, Heitkamp, Franken, King and Independent, Tester and Carper are voting with Democrats to filibuster, so the bill has been stuck in the Senate. The House Homeland Security Chairman has offered this appeal for action.
I would hope that they would take that up in the Senate and allow it for debate. But in the final analysis, we cannot shut down a national security agency when the threat environment is so high out there. I think that would be an unwise and dangerous course of action.
Again, we expect that procedural vote in the Senate later today. If that doesn't work, then it'll be time for Plan B, Bill.
Okay, so let's talk about that. If those Senate Democrats don't stop the filibuster, what then would happen, Mike?
Well, some are arguing, let the courts handle this. After a Texas judge issued an injunction on President Obama's executive action, they say there are good signs that the courts will rebuke the president for going beyond his authority. Others are saying they just simply do not want to risk a shutdown.
I don't believe we will. We now have an exit sign, and that is the federal court decision saying that the president's actions unilaterally are unconstitutional. And I think we've got a great argument to the United States Supreme Court where it will go.
Some other options may be a short-term continuing resolution funding Homeland Security for another month or two. We'll get a better sense when lawmakers travel back from their home districts and home states later today.
You got it. Thank you, Mike. Mike Emanuel will be in contact. Thank you, Mike.